ruin has come to our family. You remember our venerable house? Opulent and imperial, gazing proudly from its stoic perch above the moor. I lived all my years in that ancient, rumor-shadowed manor, fattened by decadence and luxury. And yet I began to tire of conventional extravagance. Singular, unsettling tales suggested the mansion itself was a gateway to some fabulous and unnameable power. With relic and ritual, I bent every effort towards the excavation and recovery of those long-buried secrets, exhausting what remained of our family fortune on swarthy workmen and sturdy shovels. At last, in the salt-soaked crags beneath the lowest foundations, we unearthed that damnable portal of antediluvian evil. Our every step unsettled the ancient earth, but we were in a realm of death and madness. In the end, I alone fled laughing and wailing through those blackened arcades of antiquity, until consciousness failed me. You remember our venerable house, opulent and imperial. It is a festering abomination. I beg you, return home, claim your birthright, and deliver our family from the ravenous, clutching shadows of the darkest dungeon.
Hello everybody, hope you're all doing well, and feeling fresh. It's been a long time. Let's go ahead and get into the return of the YouTube channel. We're going to be playing some Darkest Dungeon as soon as I can get, words to formulate properly. Hope you guys have been excellent. This has been one of my favorites, my long absence. Let's go and get started, guys. I've been playing this on my Twitch channel. I've had to postpone any further streaming for the time being, so we're back to making YouTube videos, which is not a bad thing. Let's be real about this. It's not a bad thing at all. Alright, so accounts payable, we're in week 72 there. We aren't going to worry about that. We're going to start a new accounts payable. We're going to make this accounts receivable. There we go. Accounts receivable, here we go. We're starting off real good. I'm going to shut up for the next cutscene.
You will arrive along the old road. It winds with a troubling, serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside, leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient, pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path, you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors. So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell, but in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
Alright guys, so this is Darkest Dungeon. It is a dark fantasy turn-based adventure game. Similar, it's kind of a hardcore RPG, if I can summarize it in a few words. So you have several characters. I'm going to go ahead and get started on the tutorial here. And so we've got our map navigation. It's a very, very simple game. Easy to learn, hard to master type of game. So we're currently in a room. So we've got a room system here. It's indicated by a square on the map. And we move forth in a grid. So it's kind of similar to a board game. I don't want to liken it to Candyland, but it is fairly similar. and the fact that you can reach key events and collect goods and treasure along the way. So, let's go ahead and get out of here. So we move with A and D, Big Pampa. We got W and S as well. W is more important in the fact that that's how you interact with all the objects you find along the way. So to start off, we've got our Crusader, Reynald. We're going to rename him. I made a promise to a couple of friends. We got Liz Games as our mighty Crusader. And we've got Pneumatic as our flamboyant highwayman. So, our heroes have a number of different skills. And they come in the form of Smite, which is a basic melee attack. We've got the Zealous Accusation, which is a kind of a frontline AoE style attack. It's reduced damage, but the accuracy is a little bit higher. We've got a Stunning Blow, which knocks an opponent or a friendly, depending on who you want to hit, out for essentially for one turn of action. And we have the Bulwark of Faith, which gives us a little bit of light and a little bit of a damage reduction, which is awesome. That's really good. So that essentially summarizes our Crusader. It's pretty much a run-of-the-mill frontliner. Can do a little bit of AoE damage, can do some stuns, very little minor healing. So if you want to liken it to the terms of like an MMORPG, it is similar to a tank melee role. Then we have our Ruthless Highwayman. He has an open vein, which does damage over time, as well as an initial amount of damage. It's got a minus 15% damage on that. We have a ranged attack, which is we do only do 75% of our base damage. We do have a higher chance for critical hits. I mean, I think we have a little bit of reduced accuracy. Yeah, just a little bit. I have a Grape Shot Blast, which is hits everyone, the first 3 characters in the line here. So. And then a Take Aim, which is a simple, like, preparation turn. We have our hit points down here, 22, 22. We have our Stress, which is a unique mechanic to this game. We can, we'll investigate that later on. Stress is essentially the driving factor of every adventure you go on. You take it into a dungeon. You do have to recover from stress. In many more ways than one, stress is actually more important than your health. So this is great for office workers and whatnot there. We have our accuracy attribute, how likely we are to hit. We have our crit, obviously our critical chance. Our base weapon damage is just based on our equipment. Highwayman and the Crusader have differing values for that. Small dodge chance, percent chance to dodge the attack, essentially. It's more of a skill bonus, actually. It's not really like a percentage like our crit chance. Protection is just damage reduction, and speed is how quickly we can get into action. Now, the next interesting part about Darkest Dungeon, if you guys have never played this before, are the traits of each character, and these are randomly generated. So we have positives, and we also have negatives, and these are actually can be generated by the amount of stress accumulated in the dungeon or in your like recent adventure, and they can be positives or negatives. So we have Hard Noggin on Pneumatic, so he has a plus 15% stun resist. So whenever someone's trying to stun old Pneumatic, he's gonna be like, oh hell no, hell no. So we got that. Quick reflexes plus 2 speed, that's awesome. Basically allows him to jump into the fight a little bit quicker, get an early turn in. And he's a known cheat. He's not allowed to gamble in town to relieve stress when we're on the home front. Now, Liz Games. Crusader, we have Warrior of Light. Plus 10 damage if the torch is above 75. Now, torch is a mechanic I haven't explained yet. And what that is while you're in dungeons, you want your way illuminated, so you can avoid traps, surprise enemies, avoid getting surprised in an ambush yourself, which really sucks. And you get bonus scouting, so you can kind of see what's ahead, whether that's loot, whether that's enemies, whether it's like a special event, whether it's a boss. Bosses are important, obviously. So while the light, we have a small number in parentheses on the right side of that radiant light text there. While that's higher, we get a, what is that, plus 10% damage, so that's awesome. So we're gonna try and keep our light high if possible. Now our negatives, We've kleptomaniac, so anytime we come across a like loot dropped on the ground, or maybe a trap that has some loot floating above it or that's alongside it, Liz is gonna want that if we don't pick it up. So there's an increased chance that Liz is gonna be like, "Ooh, gimme that shiny," and that's gonna prove to be either very helpful or very hurtful. We'll find out. And we have God-fearing, so in town we'll only pray for stress relief. The only reason that's really a negative is that it's not the cheapest alternative for stress relief. So, we do have our map here, as you guys have seen. We're going to go ahead and choose our destination here in a bit, once we go through here. And we have food rations, so we need to ration that out as well as we proceed, because our adventurers get pretty hungry when they're killing enemies all day long, right? So, let us begin. Let's go and select our destination, our right square here.
Brigands have run up these lanes. Keep to the side path.
So we've got our
just ahead.
Got our movement here. We've got our epic narrator voice. Oh, I love this game, guys. If you guys haven't picked this up, definitely pick it up. It is in early access at the moment.
This thug in brutal fashion.
All right.
All may hear of your arrival.
Kill the enemy. Combat is turn-based. On your hero's turn, click a skill icon and then click on the highlighted target. If you can't select a particular skill, it's because that hero needs to be standing in a different spot where there are no valid targets. Mouse over to see the skill to see the requirements. Okay. So, with our open vein, on the left there are 4 dots, and on the right there are 4 dots, right? So the max amount of combatants we can have on the screen at one time is 8 people, okay? So we can use the open vein skill from any of the first 3 positions on our side, the left side. And we can attack any of the first 2 combatants or our opponents on the right side with the red vein. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to use our open vein skill. And we only have an accuracy base of 85. So kind of sketchy. We do have like a I tend to think it's percentage based, but let's go ahead and hit it up. Brigand Cutthroat, prepare to have your veins opened. Get dunked. All right, so we did 6 damage, and he's bleeding now. So every time it's his turn, he's gonna take a little bit of damage, and he's gonna shank old Liz Games and do the same essentially to us, which is kind of annoying. But I mean, it happens. So I'm going to go ahead and stun our Brigand friend, so he doesn't get any more combat rounds. So we've got the stun effect there, as you can see. He's buffing. So when a character gets out of stun, they automatically gain a plus 20% stun resist, which isn't great, but it is helpful. Kind of prevents people manipulating the stun mechanic for their own gains, I suppose. So we're going to go ahead and open another vein. He's going to go ahead and doge that, though, unfortunately. We're taking a little bit of bleed damage. We're going to go and finish this scumbag off. Get dunked!
As the fiend falls.
Obviously, we could have missed there, and I would have felt pretty foolish. But the Cutthroat had 100 gold coins on him, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. Let's go ahead and keep moving here. I'm going to move kind of slowly. You'll see, as you can see, our light is dropping, and so it drops as you progress further and further into the dungeon. However, you can mitigate that effect by purchasing more torches, and we will go ahead and do so as we progress throughout the game and hit up more dungeons. Okay, so this is our first interactable object. It is a kind of a sketchy little tent. I'm not too fond of it, but we're going to go ahead and check it out. So clearly where the ambushers camp, we're going to check inside the tent. What do we got? Got another 150 gold. So Kleptomaniac Liz obviously wanted that. If we would have skipped over that, Liz would have taken it for herself and the party wouldn't have gotten control of those assets. Okay. Oh my god.
These vermin a message.
All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at our enemies here.
And their kind is no longer welcome.
Alright, so we've got a Brigand Bloodletter. He's got increased health compared to the Fusilier. Okay. He has almost no dodge ability. He has a pretty high stun resist, and he's got some other like, condition resists as well. And the interesting thing about this is since he's larger, he actually takes up 2 spots on the enemy lineup. So with these 2, we can't actually touch the Fusilier unless we're using our ranged abilities, which is kind of sketchy. So what I'm going to go ahead and do with Pneumatic is take aim. So hopefully we can get a increased crit chance on the Fusilier, because this blanket fire ability that he has, he can attack us all at once. And that's going to be a bit of a problem if you ask me. So we're going to try and keep the big man stunned. It's going to be a coin flip just about every time, but the fewer turns he has, the better, because he can dish out some gnarly damage. So we're going to go ahead and try and get some shots on old Fusilier back here. We're going to get into a gunfight. Never bring a knife to a gunfight, my friends. That's not good. Fortunately, I think Liz is going to be able to take a little bit of damage, and we did get the bleed resist there on both of our fellas. So let's go and take another shot. There we go. So he's basically at, what is that, 1/3 health right now, so that's awesome. We did get bleeding on pneumatics, so that's a little bit sketchy. And he did lose his stun buff, so we're going to go ahead and try and take it. Unfortunately, we lost the coin flip. Let's see if we can finish this fella off. Oh my god! That's a crit. That is a crit. Beautiful. Okay, let's see if we can get the stun going. We want to keep this guy stunned because our characters can very well die in this fight. It gets a little sketchy. Let's go and see if we can open up a vein on this fella. There we go. So he's going to take 2 hit points of damage, and that does stack. Oh my god. We're getting pretty low on health here. Come on, Liz, hold it in. Hold it together. Should be able to get the kill here. Yeah. Only has 1 health left after the bleed. And there's the kill!
Size alone does not
very nice. Okay, 225 gold and 2 busts. We can use these busts to upgrade our facilities once we get to town. Let's go and open up this chest. Oh no! Oh, thank God, it was trapped. So that's kind of the thing there. Like, you feel like you've completed the dungeon, and it's rewarded you, and then it freaking gives you the blight. What a joke. Alright. This is our reward quest. We got 5,000 gold for completing that. Awesome. 475 gold otherwise. Our other collected treasure. And we got a couple heirlooms, so that's our bus there. Also going to level up both of our guys here. So Liz has leveled up. And she has actually gotten a bonus trait, which is pretty sick. Let's see what it is. Quick draw. +4 speed on the first round. That is amazing for Crusaders, so we can get that immediate stun off right at the very beginning. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Whoop, whoop. That's all I have to say about that.
Home, such as it is. This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lands, they are yours now, and you are bound to them.
Alright, so that was our first mission, guys. That is the tutorial. Welcome to Accounts Receivable Estate. Okay. So we're going to go through all the buildings that are available to us. So we're going to go to the Stagecoach. We're going to go to the Ancestors' Memoirs. And we're going to head over to the Graveyard. So let's go ahead and get through all of these. The Stagecoach is where you recruit new heroes.
Women and men, soldiers and outlaws, fools and corpses.
So for the most part, this is where you recruit new heroes that come through. You can upgrade this to get better heroes, etc., etc. I'm actually going to increase the Stagecoach network, so possibly we can get some better heroes.
Even here, in the mud and
we're gonna go ahead and head back. No, okay. So recruiting heroes is free. However, we do have to assume the risk that since they're lower level, they're possibly going to be doing much more damage. They might not have proper skills. All the skills are randomly generated from a pool. So we've got Deviant Tastes. Yeah. Alright, so Stagecoach is essentially where we recruit heroes. We can delve back into that in a little bit. The Ancestors' Memoirs, where you view all the cutscenes for the game, check your achievements, etc., etc., etc. Basically just a pretty interesting little place where you can check your progress of clearing out accounts, your estate, essentially. And then the Graveyard is where all of your prior heroes have died.
Covered in the
and you can check like their stats, etc., etc. We've got the Tavern and the Abbey, which is where people go to relieve stress. We can't hop in there quite yet. We need to unlock more. So yeah, guys, that was the first episode of Darkest Dungeon. I think I'm going to call it here, obviously. So yeah, feel free to leave your name in the comments. We're going to do a system similar to my XCOM Enemy Within series. Leave your name. Leave a little bit of feedback for the series, what you would like to see, what you would like to continue to see. in this series, and I will name a hero after you. We do have a Plague Doctor and a Vestal, which is a healer. Plague Doctor is kind of a... Let's actually go ahead and recruit these. We'll go ahead and go through the heroes here.
What better laboratory than
We'll go ahead and recruit our little hero parties here. So we have a Plague Doctor that is on guard, which is really good first round. +4 speed, +5 dodge, which is awesome. So that initial round is going to go really well. And then he's got Deviant Taste, so he isn't allowed to go to the brothel to seek a little bit of stress relief, if you catch my drift. And we've got a -20% stress resist versus Unholy, which is skeletons, zombies, and demons, essentially. So we'll go ahead and rename that after some people in the comments, if you are so inclined to do so. And we've got Cecil the Vestal, which is essentially a healer. Does some buff work as well, some stuns, essentially. We've got a Mace Smash. We've got Judgment, which is a ranged attack that heals as well. Heals the priest. We've got our single heal, which heals one person for up to 5 hit points. And we've got Illumination, which raises our light without the use of torches. We've got Slayer of the Unholy, which is awesome against, once again, skeletons, zombies, and demons and whatnot. And Plutomania, which is... I don't know if I've ever seen this trait. I assume she means she's gonna like try and take our money and whatnot. So, if you guys are interested in those classes, please feel free to let me know in the comments section below. What else? Let's actually go through the Plague Doctor, because I didn't even discuss the skills here. We've got Noxious Blast, which is essentially a poison for 3 rounds, which is actually awesome. I love condition damage in this game. Conditions are so damn strong. We've got another Bleed, and we've got a buff here, which can cure conditions and also do a little bit of healing. And we have the Disorienting Blast, which essentially shuffles all the orders up. So you can send the ranged characters up to the front, so they can get wrecked by Liz and Pneumatic, and your melee characters can't even attack because they might not have the ranged attacks. So yeah, guys, I hope this was a good video. I hope to see you again in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to leave comments below with your I'll check usernames, or if you have a desired name, feel free to leave that in the comments. And thank you guys so much for watching my return video. I'm really goddamn nervous right now, and this video has already gone on long enough. So I will see you next time, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.